Hello everyone, this is Cassie and welcome back for another Brutus Monroe video. Today we're going to be showcasing the Lace Gate die, which is the die of the month for August. And is that not gorgeous? It has a lot of detail, but I had no issue with this thing going through my die cutting machine. It went through beautifully and it is a just stunning, stunning die. I'm going to show you a couple of new products to the store. This is the Slimline collection. We've got our pre-cut bases and our pre-cut card panels, so it's perfect. They're just done and ready for you. And the panels measure 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and then our card bases measure 7 inches by 8.5 inches. So all you have to do is score those babies at 3.5 inches, and you have your card base all ready to go. So those are new, and those will be linked down in the store. I'm not going to be using those panels because I do plan to use some watercolor, so I'm going to be using some watercolor paper, but we're also going to be using this is the extra Sentimental stamp set. You know, this is one of my favorites. Great sentiments, and then we're going to be using the Circle Foundation dies along with some Aqua Pigments. We've got Delphinium, Lime, Sunflower, and Watermelon, and they're so shimmery and beautiful. Alright, so I have my Waffle Flower Media Mat out. I'm going to shake up my Aqua Pigments because those have some shimmer at the bottom and I want to make sure I get it down there pretty well. And I'll just put some of that onto my glass, or not my glass mat, my media mat. And then I'm going to put down the Sunflower, and then I'll move on to Lime and Delphinium because we are working in a rainbow. I'm going to be doing some ink smooshing, so that's why we're just putting it on the mat all willy-nilly. I do have my card panel cut down to 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and that's just some watercolor paper. But look you can already see the shimmer just in this stuff. It is just stunning. Oh my goodness. So we'll just put that on the mat. We're going to spritz it with some water so it'll get it moving even more, and then we're going to squish our panel right into that. And I'm going to let that kind of move around a little bit. We'll squish a little more, and then we'll heat set that. So I'm just going to use my heat tool on this just to kind of get that drying up a little bit, and then we'll do a little bit more squishing or smushing or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to wipe up some of the excess on the edges because I do plan to use the entire panel and I don't want too much of that pooled right on the edges like that. So I'll wipe up a little bit more, and then we'll get done heat setting that, and then we're going to squish this right into what's left on my mat. And then I am going to pick that up, but look at that. It layers up beautifully. I'm so happy with how that looks. But we do want to put down a little bit more sunflower. I feel like that kind of got lost in there. And so we'll spritz it with some more water and squish that on there just so we can get a little bit more of that yellow to pop in. I'll heat set that, and I'm going to bring in some Aqua Pigment in the color white. Now this is a little bit more opaque. It's not completely opaque, but it does kind of dry back just a little bit, but it is very pretty, very subtle. And it's a great white watercolor gouache kind of thing. But yeah, check it out. Let's take a closer look at all that shimmer and how that white looks on there. But oh, if that does not make your heart go pitter patter, right? Oh my goodness, like I was gasping. Just thought this was so pretty. So I'll pull out one of those pre-cut bases, and easy peasy, all I have to do is score it. Love that. And then I'm going to pull out my Circle Foundations and kind of match up with the sentiment that I want to use, which this one is Hey Gorgeous. I went ahead and cut out the Lace Gate die a couple times because this is a slimline. Typically you wouldn't think that that die would have worked on a slimline, but we're going to overlap it. I think it looks pretty that way. And then I did want my sentiment to be on another one of those ink smushed panels, so I went ahead and did the exact same process, just on a smaller piece of watercolor paper. And then we are going to use some embossing powder. And this is the embossing powder that had me at hello. This is Brutus Monroe's Raven Sparkle. Yeah. So I'll pour that over the top just to make sure that it's not going to stick to the places I don't want it to. And it does stick in that bottom edge, but that doesn't bother me because I'm going to die cut this and also clearly make a mess on my mat. But we're gonna use our embossing ink along with our sentiment, my well-loved Hey Gorgeous sentiment. I'm stamping that right onto my watercolor paper, making sure that I have it over the area that I want it to. I'll cover that with my embossing powder, and then I am going to heat set that until that is smooth and melted. My heat gun was already heated up pretty well, but if yours is not, my suggestion is to start out on the bottom of your paper and heat that a little bit, and then you can move to the top, so that way you're just not blowing it everywhere. All right, now we will tack down our circle foundation dye with a little bit of purple tape. I'm going to just make sure that I'm putting it on the outside. I don't want that to go on the inside because sometimes my purple tape, when it's matched up with some watercolor paper, will tear the paper. So I'm just going to make sure that that isn't on the inside at all. And then I'll run that through my die cutting machine. Now it's time to tack down our lace gate cutout here, our die cut, and I'm just going to use some liquid glue on the edges, mostly on the edges, just a little bit on the inside in prominent areas, but you do not have to cover the thing completely. It's just not necessary. You just want to make sure that you're getting it in areas where it might pop up, and so don't let that intimidate you, like, how am I going to get that tacked down? Just make sure that you're putting it on the edges. That's really the most important part, or any areas that it might be sticking up. And for this one, it is just the edges, mostly. And so then I'll do that with the other one, and as you could tell, it didn't take much. I'll put a block just on top of that just to kind of make sure that it's sticking down where it's supposed to. And then once again, we're going to just put it on the edges, maybe a few center pieces, but this doesn't take any time, and I really don't stress about it. I know, like I said, that can be intimidating to a few folks, but don't let it be. You don't need to get glue all over it. And then once I'm happy with the amount of glue that I have on there, I'm just going to tack that down. Like I said, it's going to overlap, but with it being white, it doesn't really, I don't think it shows that much. And I'm going to put my sentiment there sort of in the center so it'll cover up some of that overlap, but I really like how that looks. I think that's kind of fun. So here's our panel, or our base, and I just scored that at 3.5 inches, so that baby is all ready to go. Perfect. And then I am going to stamp one more thing on the inside. I'm going to take one more sentiment from our set here. This one's going to say, "You rock." So, "Hey gorgeous, you rock." So this could be a thank you or just an encouragement. And I know we could all use a little encouragement these days. Who couldn't use encouragement, right? So make sure you're encouraging your friends. That's so important. All right, now we'll go ahead and attach our panel down to our card base using some more liquid glue. And like I said, it's going to completely cover that. So this all closed up measures 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches. Now I'm going to use some of the Brutus Monroe foam tape on the back of my sentiment. I wanted this popped up just a little bit. And then I will peel off the release paper using my tool. It's a picking tool. It's in the store. I will have it linked down below if that's something that you are interested in. And then I'll just tack that down sort of in the center, a little bit more north of the center, I suppose. And then I do apologize, my camera did quit and I thought I had started it back up, but we did use some Galaxy Black sequins on our card. I just wanted to tie in a little bit more black to match with our Hey Gorgeous, and I love how this turned out. Now the white glue will dry back clear, so don't worry about that, but there it is. I am so happy with how this turned out. So if you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button, and please subscribe if you have not already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Thanks so much for stopping by.